How about now? Can you guys hear me? All right. Hopefully that worked because I was on mute. Okay, good. Okay. Sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. Moving sucks, and that's what's in the title. As you guys can see behind me, it's a different location. This is sort of like my little office area of the new house that we just moved into. And not quite done. Still have to get back to the other house and pick up a few things that we left there and get ready for the yard sale tomorrow. But I'm on the wrong side of 40, and let me just tell you, this is the last time I'm going to really try to do this myself. My son came down from California. Stepson was here, and he, was helpful as well. And it was just one of those things where it worked out well, but you realize when you get this age that, your body don't react to nearly what it would react to when you're in your 20s or whatever. So last time for me. If I move again, hopefully I don't anytime soon, but if I ever get into the move mode, I will definitely have everyone, just chill, and we're going to have someone do it for us. So all right. So sorry about everything, guys. Wanted to do a live stream. As you may or may not know, if you've moved recently or if you even recall the last time you moved, it's really hectic. I got a lot of stuff behind me. Nothing's in place. Working on my garage. Excited to show you guys at some point what that's going to look like. But until then, just going to have to keep plugging away. I figure between today, getting ready for the yard sale at the other place. It's a garage sale, actually. Garage sale at the other place. We're going to have a lot of stuff. Already put it up on the yard sale app, and I'm starting at 7 a.m. Biscuit Butt's going to be there, and we're just going to have some deals. I already have $1, $2 bins, and I have Gaylords that are full. So hopefully, if you're in the Vegas area tomorrow, you can shoot on over. Send me an email at flippinainteasy2020@gmail.com, and I will send you the details and the location where we're going to have it at. So wanted to talk to you about just some changes that will affect resellers like me who sell everything. And if you maybe pick this kind of thing up at a yard sale, if you pick it up at a maybe a Goodwill or even a liquidation lot where you can tell the item is used or damaged or whatnot, we're talking about electronic items that have the lithium batteries installed, and USPS will no longer allow you to ship these items, or at least I don't know how they're going to police it. But if they're used or broken, or maybe parts or repair, something like that, you need to ship it by way of ground transportation. So a lot of times we're talking about, like UPS ground anyway, because they're larger items. Anything over 2 pounds, I'm shipping in most cases by UPS ground. But just something that you need to know. You need to, just kind of use your best judgment. Now, as far as for me, open box, if it's an open box item in new condition, it's being shipped the way I always ship it. And this policy does not state anything about new or, like there's a debate there, to me. If it's open box, hasn't been used, the seal's been cracked and opened, and someone pulled it out and said, oh, it's not the right color, put it back in and send it back in for a refund. For me, that's brand new, and it's open box new. And for me, it says new specifically. Used specifically in the policy. So just wanted to share that with you guys. That started, I believe, yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, the 11th. And just be careful. Just use your due diligence when you're grading your items. I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of people grade their items as, say, open box, when it's really, if you want to consider it, yeah, it has the packaging, but it's really used. So, and again, how is eBay, not eBay, but USPS going to know? I have no idea. So yeah, so that's it. Between my moving, I should have most things in order here this weekend. and I'll get back on schedule. It's hurt my sales though. I mean, we came out with the video just early in the week saying how we killed it this last weekend. And eBay, I can tell you, when you go in and you change your address, I'm telling you, this is the third time I can recall that. The first time we were in California, we moved to Vegas. We couldn't get a place because there's a waiting list on every place. So we had to get one sight unseen. We did not like the house when we got here. And after a year, we got another place. And we'd still be in this other place if the owner didn't decide last minute that they were going to sell the house. So we're here. Hopefully we don't move for a while. And, it's going to make things a lot easier. But eBay, every time, it seems like the moment you change your address information, they totally throttle you. And it kind of makes sense, right? From the standpoint that they want to make sure that the customer is getting the items that they're paying for in a timely manner. And if you're stuck in a move and you're doing this and that, it's very difficult to meet the, your handling time. Now, for me, I put it for 2 days. Now, Jenna got on my butt. Why didn't I set it for 3 days? Because I'm really just trying to keep not only the momentum on the account, but I want to keep my momentum going. I don't want to get into the to this mindset where, I've got a lot to do, but I still have to be responsible for the business. I put out a little short maybe a week ago saying that life's going to get in the way, but you still have to make time for your business. And I'm trying to do that. Launched some drafts yesterday. I'm going to have some today. And I did that extra work in advance, knowing that I was going to be dealing with this. But I just think eBay throttles you when you move. So if you're getting ready to move, you're considering moving, just know that it not only is difficult to, my supplies aren't even in the same spot. So I had to do my shipping today and scramble around and get all that done. And it's just, it adds a lot of time to the process. But I'm really excited to show you guys the garage once it's done. So hopefully we can get past the technical issues and have a pretty good live stream today. I want to keep it to about an hour. Now, if you guys are watching this live, of course, put your comments in the chat and either myself or someone else will, answer your question. You guys help drive this content. I usually come on here with about 10 to 15 minutes worth of stuff to talk about. So certainly do that. If you're watching this after the fact, hopefully you've skipped past the problems that we had at the beginning of this live stream. And if you've persevered with us, you have a question or comment, please comment down below. And no matter how you're watching this, I just ask one thing, just hit that like button. It does help the channel. It helps promote the content. And, I'm pretty stoked. We're over 13,000. It just seems like February, when we hit 10,000. So making pretty good progress, and I'm pretty happy about that. So it's all from you guys. I'm just one viewer, one person, and you guys make up that 13,000, provided you've hit that subscribe button. But nonetheless, let's get on to some of your comments and questions, and let's see who we have here with us. Biff Boffo, one early thumbs up. Thank you, Biff. Appreciate that for getting here early. Kevin Hawthorne is always consistent. Thanks, Kevin, for being here with us today. No One Designs in the house. Wicked Domain, Tony Q. We have Stefan Zorka, or Zortz. I'm sorry, I don't mean to butcher your name. Let's see. Ida Hat, Tony Q. I already said that. Christy Bowers, Joe Lozano, Ping G, Kent Hamilton. So let's see what kind of questions and comments you guys have today. I'm getting past the little technical comments here. Kent Hamilton says nothing worse than moving except for having Mr. 81 million votes as the reciting. Well, you know what? I think you're onto something there. Stefan says, hi, John. Glad I caught the live stream. Glad you could make it. I appreciate that. Ping G says, I thought the restriction on lithium batteries being shipped via ground started several years ago. No, in fact, this policy only speaks to used, and the exact verbiage says these changes limit the services that can be used when shipping pre-owned, damaged, or defective electronic devices with lithium batteries. And I've always ship my batteries. In fact, I've actually shipped not batteries, but electronics with lithium batteries, and I've even claimed that on when I was using GPS global shipping. On the little form that you put the type of item, it was always like Bluetooth speaker, that type of thing. Um, Obviously, I was having a conversation with Biscuit Butt today. He was dealing with a situation where he was trying to run a label on eBay, and it was international, and it was a Bluetooth speaker, and it was giving him an error message on the label, wouldn't allow him to print the label. So he's like, well, should I just print it in pirate ship? And I said, well, for me, it sounds like a glitch. I don't know if it's tied to this particular situation where eBay is saying, no, we can't run this label because it has to be flown to this country. But I don't think he was selling a used Bluetooth speaker. So I said, it's probably, I wouldn't doubt if it's another glitch on eBay's part. So I don't know if you guys have seen anything like that. Please comment down below if you have. I'd like to know to be able to pass it on to him. Noah Design 2 says, remember, drafts are your friend. You're right, but I don't have any drafts for tomorrow or Sunday. And that's on me. Just sometimes I put so much on my plate. And when I do that, it just, I'm hopeful that, hey, okay, I have these many drafts and hopefully I can find some free time. And of course, I found free time. And what did I do? Family was over. So got the carne asada, we made the salsa, we did the whole thing, and I'm out there on the grill, and I just don't give myself a break. Sometimes I just need to just kind of relax and be realistic with myself, and I'm always on the go, and I have to deal with now making listings for tomorrow and Sunday. So that's where I'm at. I'm not going to not list because I can't go from $2,000 weekends in a row to a $20 weekend. I won't allow that to happen. Base and card collector. eBay is 24/7, 365. Yes. Congrats, man. Thank you. Well, the house, I like it. If you've been in Vegas or are in Vegas, know that most homes are 2-story, and this is single story. And my old butt doesn't have to go up and down stairs anymore. The garage is my canvas, and you guys saw the video, a little short video I put out, kind of outlining the garage and kind of asking for your suggestions. And last night I was in kind of panic mode because I didn't have any of my shelving put up, and I had all my product here, and they were in piles. Now each of the product had a number on it, so it told me what shelf to put it on. And 2 sons came over and they helped me sort of about like 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. And we knocked it out. And then as a kind of a reward for their helping me, I decided that I'd go with them to the casino because my son came down for 4 days from California and he's been working his tail off. And the one thing he wanted to do was just go to a casino. Well, $400 later, that was the fun we had. So yeah, it's just been a very eventful week, but it is what it is. Wickedy Mains is listening while doing my photos. Awesome. Make sure you're taking those Zoom photos as well, because your customers like to see the little intricacies of the items you're selling. Zoom in on those photos, get the 12 photos of your item. Michael Biddle says, what is the email address to get the address for the yard sale? That's flippin' ain't easy. There's no apostrophes or anything like that. It's all one word. Flippin' ain't easy 2020 at gmail.com. I'll put it in the flippin' ain't easy 2020 at gmail.com. And it's in the chat there if you want to just send me an email. I'm going to send out a little email here later this afternoon. If you can make it, I'm going to put out some photos. I'm in the yard sale app, and I didn't get a chance to put any photos, but we have an exercise bike. And if you guys have seen me, you guys know I haven't used it much. We have a fridge, that one of those nice fridges. If you have like a man cave, it has like a clear glass front where you can see the beverages. You can have the light on, light off, that type of thing. Have My neighbor, he has some new truck tires and wheels that he wants to sell. I'm like, bring them over. That's fine. Just a lot of stuff. Archie's bringing stuff over, and I think this garage is going to be full. I also have some racks I'm probably going to bring. I have too many racks for this garage, and I have it set up just perfectly for me with the number of racks that I have. So I'm going to be bringing some racks, just moving those cheaply. Keep in mind, I'm trying to move these items as quickly as I can, and I'm not going to try to gouge people. I just want a fair deal. And we have, like I said, $1 bins, $2 bins. And after 11 a.m., we're going to have sort of like a fill a bag kind of situation, like $5 fill a bag of stuff that's in the bins. So that's going to be after 11 a.m. So people get in at 7 to 11. They get picked through the stuff, and then we're going to have the fill a bag kind of thing. My lovely wife, she's at the other house, and she's working away and doing some of the cleaning and stuff. And that's probably the part I don't like about moving the most, and that is getting the place you're leaving in order. But thank you, honey, for doing that. I appreciate that. And the email will be at the outro. Usually it is, but I'm not sure on these live streams. I have to go in and do it. But yes, if you are watching this after the fact, I'll make a point to put the outro in this one after we're done, and you should see the email address for the yard sale there. Or go to the yard sale app. It's the yard sale in Northwest Las Vegas, the big one. And I think I have a huge yard sale or garage sale in there as the title. LSGS Rob, do you have a post office box? If so, why don't you wait to change the address? I don't have a post office box, and I will be doing that at some point. It was something I was talking about before we moved, and the move kind of hit us by surprise because we were expecting to stay another year, and the discussion was that we were going to stay another year, and then they, out of the blue, decided they were selling. So it is what it is. Deportes en el Recuerdo says, I got a return where the buyer shipped an empty envelope. I opened the case and eBay sided with the buyer. I appealed and eBay made me sign a declaration of truth. Yeah, that sounds about right, but I don't know anything about declaration of truth because when it happened to me, when that buyer, remember they sent me back the childish drawings back to me and had a problem with, items being purchased from China, that type of thing. And I think it was a troll that was just trying to troll me. Well, contacted eBay, dealt with the supervisor. They not only cleared it up, but they got both of the accounts. There's actually 2 accounts involved. They got both the accounts, Narud, not a registered user. So, and they gave me my money back. And of course, when they do that, they allow the buyer to keep their money. They just basically, they unfreeze my money and give the buyer their money back, that type of thing. So, yes, whenever that happens, I would go to ic3.gov. That's internet fraud, mail fraud, and you need to file that complaint there so that then you call eBay with that information and let them know you filed the complaint. No One Design 2 says, summer slowdown is almost coming to an end. I'm starting to see back to school sales on the rise, plus toy sales are up, ticking as well. Yes, excellent. Between Mercari and eBay, my account was over, I'd say a month ago, it was over 725 items. I'm down to like 590. And that's has nothing to do with me not listing. I'm listing continuously. That just shows you the amount of sales. I've actually sold 130 some odd items more than I have listed. And it's pretty incredible. My numbers were really sad last 90 days, and the last 2.5 weeks have just fixed all of that. And like I said, this moving, eBay will put you in timeout a little bit. I had 7 sales today to ship out, plus 3 from Mercari, so it's not that bad. But I'm really hoping that I can keep my momentum for the last couple of weeks going. So I'm glad to see that your sales are really picking up. That's awesome. No One Design says, does the Vegas home typically have basements? No, we don't. These homes are really, the way they've designed them, they've stacked them up on top of each other. And there's no basements. I mean, there may be some with basements, but I don't know of any. Yeah, and this is the email address if you guys want to, if you're in the Vegas area, you want to check out the yard sale. We're going to start at 7 o'clock sharp. Going to get down there this afternoon, get the garage ready to go. have it set up so I don't have to scramble in the morning, and go out after I'm done and get the signs put up and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool, and not really a community sale. Don't know of anybody who's going to be doing the yard sale, but you could be driving around Vegas and find tons of yard sale signs all over the place. So that's kind of what we're going to do tonight for tomorrow. Ken Hamilton says, hit the thumbs up. Yes, please do. Again, I seem kind of frazzled because I kind of am. I've been on the move for the last 3 or 4 days, and to make it worse, I can't find my Mio, and that's sort of my power drink. I put that in my water, and it's like an energy drink. It kind of gets me going. I have a little cherry Coke that's kind of working, but it's not the same. So I'm doing my best. I don't drink coffee, and that Mio is sort of like my equivalent of coffee. Water Baby says, moving is hard. Yes, moving ain't easy. That's for sure. Jenna says, there's a ton of stuff, all random items. We will have 2 Gaylords full of $1 to $2 items. Yes, we will. Nebraska 308 Picker, blessings. Thanks for all the info you provide. I've been selling for a while now, trying to get 2 girls through college. Wow. And you're making it work through reselling. That's really cool. So everyone needs parents like you. That's for sure. That's awesome. No One Design 2 says, hit the like button, guys. Get 3 more cha-chings while listening to the live. Wow. I haven't gotten one, and I can't find my phone. So it may be happening, but if it does, you won't hear it. I have no idea. It may be in the garage, but you can ask Jenna. I'm like a chicken with my head cut off over here. Jessica Jones says, trolls suck. They do, because, I mean, all right. Of all the YouTube channels to say, you know what, I'm going to develop this intricate scheme to find this random eBayer's channel who only has, like, at the time, 11, 12,000 viewers or subscribers. And we're going to find their store on eBay. We're going to buy some $10 item, and we're going to send them these random messages after you ship the item, and then ship it back with an empty envelope. And it was just weird, but I'm almost 100% certain it was a troll that was just trying to do it for fun. And unfortunately for them, they got their eBay accounts just taken out. So that's just the way it is sometimes. So, it looks like that troll or those trolls got trolled themselves. Jessica says, traffic's in red. Help, please. It's a matter of, you can always email me, flippingainteasy20 @gmail.com, and I'll be glad to look at your store, because there's usually one or more factors. It's usually either the item that you're selling. Sometimes we like the items that we sell, but we don't realize that maybe they're just not in demand. Or we're dealing with a very saturated item, and our item is stuck into a sea of other items that are just like it. And yet now you have high competition. So it's never easy to succeed in high competition. But there's other factors. Your listing, your title, your photos, your listing may not be complete. You may not be promoting at all or enough. And these are just all the factors that go into it. Or you could do like me and decide I'm going to tell eBay I'm moving, and they're going to put me in timeout. And I know it's a thing now because it's the 3rd time that's happened to me. But yeah, send me an email. That would be great. I'll be glad to look at it for you. My best selling items are player built trading card decks. Any advice on items that require individualized construction before listing? Have you ever sold something that required your own construction? No, I haven't. There's a lot of sellers that sell like stuff that they make. They sell that on Etsy and things like that. But I've never heard of player built trading card decks. So I'm curious as to what that is. But anything that you build yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's quite awesome, actually. I know Jenna, I think she recently, and I think she might be getting rid of stuff that her hobby was to create these, those Yeti cups. Well, take the Yeti cups or similar type cups that are just plain like silver, and anything you want, she'll design anything for that cup, and it comes out like perfect every time. That's something she was doing for years. And at one point we were talking about just, doing custom designs, and we'd sell them on eBay, but it's something that really never happened. The bubbly chick does unboxings. I've never heard of it having Gaylord's full. Heard of the word Gaylord, but I've never heard it used in that way. I was wondering what a Gaylord is and the term that you are using. Well, it's not the pitcher from the A's in the 70s. It's a Gaylord is a large box. Think of like a huge box. I'm thinking the size of a pallet, of a wooden pallet. It fits almost exactly that size. I'm thinking it's like maybe what, 5 feet by 5 feet, and it's about 3 feet high, and it's an open face box. So you have it's an open Gaylord. It just a big box full of stuff inside of it. And we went through, like, I think I bought the 10 boxes of merchandise with Archie. I purchased another 3 Gaylords of merchandise. Of course, there's certain stuff I don't like to mess with. We're going to have lots of clothes. We're going to have a lot of clothing, a lot of stuff new with tags. You name it. I'm going to have $1, $2. And we kind of went through it to kind of figure out what is more of a $1, what's more of a $2. But there's lots of value there, I think. If you like clothing, that type of thing, we're going to have, I think, its own Gaylord. I think we're going to probably have about 3 of them. And I happened to take the 3 that I had and I just flattened them like you would normally do you flatten the box out, remove the tape from the bottom and just fold it up. And I'm just going to fill them up and see what happens. I went to the bank, got my change, like you should have change at a yard sale. So we're ready to go. We just got to go and get it set up. I got to kind of clean up the garage too. It's a hot mess in there. I'm not going to lie, but by the time you guys get there tomorrow, it won't be like that. I promise. Yeah, it says no sales at all in 2 stores, 2 and 3 weeks with 1,000 listings. eBay is not promoting. I see in traffic. I've increased, but no movement. So you've increased your traffic, but still not making the sales. Yes, I can look at your store too. I mean, I usually, between the comments on the videos and the emails, I haven't looked at my email like in 2 or 3 days. But in the evenings when things calm down, getting ready for bed, have the TV on and just kind of just chilling out, I'll throw my email on or, check the comments, and I will be glad to take a look if you want to send that over to me. Stefan says, I follow your advice and put 3 items on auction and 2 sold for buy it now price after sitting for a couple months with no action. I mean, to me, it's like this. You have stale items, right? And it's something that I'm coming to grips with too, especially with the limited space that I have. We really don't have the retail space to just sit on these items. And a lot of these bigger box stores, they don't either. That's why they put a lot of stuff on clearance. It's the same kind of mindset. Instead of sitting on stale inventory, and maybe you relisted it, maybe did the sell similar multiple times like I do, it's time to cut bait, I think, and to just say, you know what, let's see what we can get for it. Let's start it off at our cost, plus the cost of shipping, right? Maybe it won't sell, but for that, you will lose a little bit of money in as far as, okay, if you're into an item for $5, start it off at $5 plus the cost of shipping. It sells for $5 plus the cost of shipping. eBay is going to hit, let's say the cost of shipping, say $10. So the buyer's paying you $15. You're getting feed off of $15, which is also the cost of shipping. So you're down to maybe $3, $3.50 you're making off of the deal after shipping's paid. But you're recouping some of your initial investment. And then what you need to do is say, okay, look, this didn't work out. I was into it for $5. I ended up making $3.50. So I lost $1.50. It sucks. But I learned for next time. So I don't have to go in and make the same mistake next time, because I know this shirt doesn't sell or this brand doesn't sell. And this is a learning game. And I think sometimes we're not even learning what's going on in our store. We're just continually trying to keep our item alive in our store and hope that one unicorn buyer will come and save the day, when we have to kind of step back, look at the item for what it is, do our research before we give up on it. Is this a high saturated item? Is my price too high? Are these horrible photos? is my title just sorry? I've seen a lot of that even in my own store. It's like, why did I have this? Why did I put this brand name in the title at all? No one's searching for this. So you have to keep those kind of things in mind. And if you've done all the checks and there's no more that you can do, then it's the item and you need to cut bait and just try to get what you can, learn and move on, and don't buy that item again. Water Baby says, I often think that people who ask silly questions about products are trolls who like to see how many hoops sellers will jump through to make the sale. I don't get a lot of that though. And in fact, it wasn't until I started putting more information like bullets into my listing in the description, I was getting a lot of people who I thought, man, this is a silly question. But a lot of those bullet points about my item, you can find it online. Just, I do a copy and paste. Your competition is, and so I'm going to do what my competition, a lot of the drop shippers are our competition. And I'm going to do exactly what they're doing to be successful. And that works for me, and it helps alleviate a lot of questions that I get. Now your offers, if they're not serious, they offer you $1 for that $20 item. You come back at 15, they offer you $1 again. They're not serious, and just to decline and move on, that type of thing. Dave Allen says he is talking about Pokemon or Magic the Gathering. So now I understand. See, I never played those games. I think I do remember reading something about how Magic the Gathering, you have like so many cards to work with, and you got to, like you said, maybe build a deck to get the better. So when you go play against somebody else with their deck, I don't know. I've never played it before, but I understand now. So I think that there's nothing wrong with you build your decks like that and you want to sell them on eBay. I don't think there's any issue with that. I think that's kind of a cool thing. Water Baby says, my son was into those card games and had a ton before he went on a 2-year mission 6 years ago. Now they're worth a ton and he's making bank off of them. So yeah, definitely. That's really cool. I have a bunch of like casino chips that I was thinking about listing, and I've picked up over the years. A friend would go to like different casinos around the world. I have like some from Costa Rica, some on the other side of the country at Foxwoods, different casinos. And we have like maybe 100 and some odd of them that I've collected and just sitting around. I don't have a case, and I was thinking about maybe getting a case for them if I'm going to keep the collection, but it doesn't seem like that's happening anytime soon. So I was thinking, well, maybe if I sell them, I think some of them still have monetary value in the chips, but some are for casinos that have now been defunct. So don't know what you guys think about that. I don't even know if there's a market for it, but I was thinking about something like that. No One Design 2 says a standard Gaylord, the standard and most popular Gaylord is 48 by 40 by 36. So these are huge ones. And so they're just going to be full. They're just going to be full. And in fact, because they're about 2.5, 3 feet high, I don't want people to not be able to reach down. So I'm going to cut it down a little bit so it's not so tall and people can reach into the Gaylords and go through the stuff that's in there. Mel says, I put an item on auction and it sold for a buy it now price. Yeah, that's awesome, because see what happens is whenever your auction is about to end, it gets a little bit more traffic or gets more placement in the solds or the searches, and more so than your old stale item sitting in your store. Now that's very temporary because your item's about to end on auction. So a lot of times you'll notice you get a lot of last minute bids. Well, there's snipers that have been watching your item, and there's people who stumbled upon that item and was going to buy that item anyway, and they see it ending in 2 hours and it's up there in search. So they'll throw a bid or two on there. Or if you have your buy it now set, they'll take the buy it now. The Bubbly Chick does unboxing. Thanks for the comment to explain the answer to my question. And thank you guys for doing that. I appreciate it. Ida Hat says, seems to me that auction buyers are more reputable than buy it now buyers. Not really, because to me, it's the niche. If you're selling in like a collectible category, and I did a video on that, you have different types of buyers. It seems like your niche buyers are just different. In fact, the account that I'm selling like my patches, and I haven't really listed any in a while on there just with everything going on, but I have a bunch. I'm going to get back there and list. but I don't have an instant payment policy at all. Even on my fixed price listings in my store, I give people the 4 days. I've never yet in that store had to click on cancel due to non-payment from a buyer not paying. Every time with the military patches, and we're talking probably about 100, 150 sales now, not one single person has not paid. Now, in this other account, I wouldn't even think about it in my main account where I'm selling everything. I'd get them every day, and I require instant payment for that reason. Collecting chaos. I try to make my titles based on what I would search for. Yes, definitely want to just put the item away. Don't even look at the brand. Just put it aside and think, okay, if I needed this type of item, what would I as a buyer type in the search for that item, for my item to pop up? I think, sometimes we get too reliant on the brands and we put some off the wall brand on there because, I mean, you see some solds, maybe some drop shippers have sold some items. And I'm not going to say you can't sell items with bad titles because, we know price has a lot to do with it. People search by price all the time. But if we're relying on that segment of the buyer population who doesn't really know about all the intricacies of eBay and know to filter their search results, and they're just typing in like they're typing in a Google search, or maybe they did type in a Google search to find your item. Well, what would they type in? And we can't get caught up on a lot of stuff. I think a lot of times you have too many adjectives in your first five words of that title. You name it, even color. Put all that stuff at the end. Get the what. What is this item? I think a lot of times people go, buyers will say, okay, I need a hair dryer. Okay. They're not going to type in unless they really know a model or brand that they really loved and they want another one just like it. They're going to type in hair dryer. They're not going to type in Revlon. I mean, they might, and they're certainly not going to type in that third-party Chinese brand that no one's ever heard of. So why do we put that at the beginning of our title? It just, and you know what? Because I am so quick sometimes into finding a listing and piggybacking off that listing and saving it as a draft and just trying to do all these things and launch stuff. There's times that and I probably still have some listings that I need to go in and change the title of. And I'll be like, why did I do that? Why did I have this title? And you'll be surprised by just changing your titles, relaunching the listing as a sell similar with the new title that can make a world of difference. Dom says, my store is exclusively MTG cards, Magic the Gathering, I take it. I bought 300,000 bulk cards last year and have been living off it since. Wow. And that's the thing. You can find someone that has a large quantity of, whether it's these type of cards or any other type of collectible or just any type of item that you can sell on eBay, then you win the game. It's all a matter of now you showing up, taking photos, putting a title together, presenting a good price, and you've won the game. And even if your competitors are, selling an item, the same item that you are, because you source so well, you can go lower than them and take the sales. And that is the key for me. You can get I have 800 of those albums. I really thought it was another mistake. I even made a video. You guys may have watched it, how I screwed up on that purchase, but I took a stack, and I'll tell you a little story about that. I took a stack of maybe 20 albums, went through them, just checked the comps. I found two rare 60s albums, and they were in bad condition, that were selling. One was selling over $70 on eBay, the comps, and the other one was selling over $40. I came across another album that was fairly rare, and it was very offensive. It was anybody know the group Blind Faith that was put together by Eric Clapton back in the 60s. And the band only lasted about 6 months. I did some reading on this because I was absolutely horrified, but also wondering how the heck did they ever get away with what they did. And what they did was they made an album. It's called, the group is Blind Faith, and you can look it up. And even eBay has the comps on it, where they have an 11-year-old girl topless and it was banned in the US apparently. But apparently people are still selling it on eBay. And the story was that they met up with this girl's 14-year-old sister and offered her the role on the cover, and she was like, no, I'm not interested. And then apparently they had offered this 11-year-old girl a horse if she would take the photo as it is. And she agreed, and they gave her like $40 or 40 pounds or whatever it was. And so I was like, wow, how does eBay even allow someone to list this kind of an item as offensive as it was? So I went upstairs. Jenna's, on break from her work. This is like a week and a half ago. And I said, check this out. This is horrible. I don't know what to do here. I don't even think I'm allowed to have this thing, in this collection. And she was also quite horrified by it. And she's like, well, we're going to burn it. And I'm like, well, here, you do what you want to do with it. I'm moving on. So she went out and she not only ripped the cover in 1,000 pieces, but she busted the record in 1,000 pieces. And I'm like, well, the record didn't have anything on it. We could have sold the record. But she's like, I want that out of here. So yeah, it was just a pile of just craziness. But yeah, she went in and just busted it up. But I was just wow, amazed. And I'm not sure what's left in that stack of albums, but man, just 20 albums. I found two that were paying for a good chunk of the lot. So just thought that you guys would want to know that story. I even I was about to send a thing out to you guys saying, hey, what would you do if you came across such an item that apparently it's not illegal, even though the content on the album, I mean, it certainly is, and it's offensive. But that's what we did in this case. No One Design 2 says auction and buy it now items have different audience. There's literally buyers who only look for auctions and don't even bother to look at buy it now listings. So by you putting up auctions here and there, you're tapping to that part of the audience. But I really think, and 2 weekends in a row, I think I have one auction up right now. And I did that just because I want to do one auction a day. I want to take that one stale item. I want to have a stale item of the day and just launch it. Launch it at whatever I feel like my cost is. I have items at anywhere from $1, $2, $5 cost, and launch it there. And if it sells, awesome. Okay. But it's more of, it doesn't even have to sell. It's a loss leader. It's bringing, and I don't know how or why, but it's bringing extra traffic into my store. And I can't explain why. It to me, it feels like it's the algorithm. But once I get back on track, I'm going to start launching those auctions. And if I get rid of it for my cost, great. I have more shelf space for stuff that's going to sell. Ida Hat says, I think the worst buyers are looking for electronic stuff. I think you're about right there. You get that electronic item that maybe it works and you're out of warranty, or you never bought the warranty, it breaks. And then you say, this guy's selling the same thing here for, half the price. I'll just swap it out and get my money back. They do that all the time. Dom says, yes, there are names I only see from auction sales and buy it now sales. I see more recurring buyers from auctions. There are stores that all they do is list auctions, and they have thousands of items. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you're pumping out items you're keeping that level of a store, or like over 1,000 items, and all you are doing is selling auctions. And you see some of the prices they're getting: 99 cents, $3.99. $9.99. Maybe they're getting more on some of their better items, plus the cost of shipping. I even saw one where they're doing auctions like that, and shipping's only like $3.99, and they're definitely losing money on some of these items. And I think it's just I don't know. I think I asked you guys about this a while ago. What do you think of that business model? Because for me, it's attractive as a buyer. You have somebody who's just blowing stuff out, but as a seller, it's not optimal. And I think they could definitely do better with their pricing. And let's think about it like this. eBay has become more of a buy it now atmosphere than an auction. A lot of people are saying auctions are dying, but eBay doesn't feel that way, I don't think, because then if you're using the app, why does eBay default? Let's say you're piggybacking off of another listing to list an item. Why does eBay default at auction? And then when you switch it over to buy it now, it takes like 10 seconds for it to actually flip over. Why does eBay force that upon us? It almost feels like they're forcing or encouraging us to utilize the auction listing. And that may be where some people, they're just listing on their app and they're not even flipping it over. They're just listing auctions, and they're missing out on the buy it now group. I think if you do a mix of, let's say, 90-10, 90% fixed, 10% auctions, I think that might help your sales. This is my opinion from 2 weeks of really successful weekends, Q4 sales when we're still in summer. Mel says, sold the item in 2 days and buyer had me mail to a different name and address. Is that legal? Yeah. If they provide that, it certainly is legal. Like, for instance, I've bought stuff for my kids on Amazon, and I'll put their address in and we'll have it sent to them. It's certainly fine. Now, if they contact you and say, hey, I gave the wrong address, then if it's not an expensive item, if it's nothing over $25, I'll just go ahead and put the new address in, plug that in manually and run the label, knowing that I don't have seller protection. But if, we're talking over $25 and the buyer's like, hey, I screwed up on the address, I moved or I'm sending it to my family or whatever, tell them we're going to have to cancel it and we'll have to have you rebuy it, that type of thing. Semper Fi says he's in the house or he's up. Thank you for hanging out with us. And I've noticed my views are 2%, 0.2% and sell through 1.4. So items are not the issue, rather the view count. And the views are still 20 to 30s per day. And I've been consistently listing at 850 in store. So I'm wondering if something's, for instance, your views are up 2%. So people are looking at your items, whether it is through the search or, eBay. After someone buys an item, they'll say, what about these items? And so they'll show those as well. That counts as a view count. And then they click on that, that becomes a page view. So for me, it's what type of item are you selling? How is your competition? Because your item may come up in a search, but the other competition, there's so much that you keep coming up in search. So your views are up and your sell-through rate is okay. I mean, for that type of, for not getting a lot of sales, I think it has to do with what you're selling, I think. So, I'd like to know what that is. I'm curious. I mean, I can certainly look at that, your store if you want. I'm not 100% an expert on stores, but I have a really good idea on, I can always look at a store and give a honest third-party opinion on what I think you should do differently. And I think sometimes you need that extra set of eyes to say, here's what I would sell differently or do differently or present differently. Eddie Estrada says, I sold a t-shirt with a graphic on the back. It's in the description. Buyer said was not as described. They thought graphic was in front. Should I dispute with eBay so I don't get the description in my file? So don't worry about, I get a lot of people that will send stuff back. And when I say a lot, I don't get it like every week, but every so often I'll get a return and it'll be item not as described. And it's like, well, I mentioned that in the listing, right? But it doesn't matter. The buyer can say anything they want about your item to get the return, because there is no return policy. So the buyer will set whatever they want or say whatever they want about your item, and you have to accept the return. I would just accept the return, and what some people do is, and I don't do this, but what some people will do is they'll say, okay, you made me pay for the return label. Not only am I not giving you and I don't think you might be charging shipping on the outbound for the shirt, but any outbound shipping is not getting returned. And I'm deducting 25% to cover the cost of the return label. There's people who do that. I haven't gone that far yet. eBay frowns upon it. But you should have access to the refund tool to allow you to do that. Get it back, check it, make sure they haven't damaged it. They haven't changed the condition. And if it's in the same condition that you shipped it, then go ahead and relist it and just move on. Let them deal with eBay if they feel like, they shouldn't have been charged. But the bottom line is you had mentioned it in the listing. And they may have wanted it in the back and you said it was in the front. That's their misunderstanding, not yours. Now, if you screwed up, maybe you didn't specify that it was in the front or the back, maybe it wasn't clear in your photos, then you may want to consider giving them a full refund, because it was a misunderstanding that could have been corrected if you had to put more complete information in the listing. Collecting Chaos says, as an example for an action figure, first I put in the name, the date of the figure, then the series, Star Wars, then if it's loose or carded, and if I have the room for the brand. Yes. So that's a good idea. I mean, again, something like Star Wars, they probably are going to be putting Star Wars in their search. So there's nothing wrong with having that at the beginning of the title. What the action figure name, the character was, the date, maybe they're searching for a certain year. I mean, a GI Joe that was sold in the late 80s is going to be different than a GI Joe that was originally, I think, they made in the 70s. So it's just going to be a little bit differently, I think. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't collect or sell toys, but to me, just from someone who, if I was to go in and search for my childhood toys, that's kind of where I'd start. No One Design 2 says, here's a tip on trying to defibrillate your store. Gather 10 to 20 items that cost you either nothing or under $1 and make loss leader listings on them. I've used this method so many times and made more sales. Plus, you woke up other listings. And I'm thinking that is 100% correct. Get those auctions going and do 5 or 7 days. Don't do that 3-day auction where you have to pay $1. And to me, you could pay that 25 cents for a buy it now, but I mean, you've given buyers a chance to buy your item at that price at buy it now already. Maybe you can show them value by putting a buy it now price. So let's say you're going to start it off at $5, but you really have been trying to sell that for $30. And by putting $30 in the buy it now, you might be showing value to the buyer. Wow, this is really $30. I can get it for $5, right? That's why if you have room on a listing, put the MSRP at the very end. You don't even have to put MSRP, just put a dollar amount. So if it's a $100 item, $100, $99. That's if you have room. Don't throw something aside so you can put that in there. But you're creating value. That tactic has worked for me as well. I don't do that on a lot of my listings, but sometimes if I have room, I will. Dom says, my per card buying price was significantly less than 1 cent. Put them into custom 100 decks and sell them for 15 to 30 cents a card. So that's awesome. That's the way you do it right there. And as long as you have, I don't care what it is, if there's demand, you're going to make money. Let's see. Collecting Chaos says, Blind Faith, if IRC was the band, Eric Clapton was in between Derek and the Dominoes and the Plastic Ono band. Yeah, it is Eric Clapton's band, and something happened. They came out with their album, and something happened, and the group broke up or whatever. I wasn't alive when that happened. But, me, I tend to go down rabbit holes. So I'm like, wow, why was this allowed to happen? So I start reading about it like, wow, okay. And so I like to see what the story is behind it, because in my opinion, nothing like that should ever happen. You should never have that type of an album cover at all. I don't care what kind of genre music or when, when this was from. I think it's even worse back in the 60s. I think people were really more so, unfortunately, more so bothered by that kind of thing than people are now. But yet it was allowed to happen. So Water Baby says, so proud of Jenna. I would get rid of offensive stuff, carries bad vibes with it. I wouldn't donate it either, destroy it and get rid of it. Yes, there are shards all over my garage. So we had to clean it up. John M says, I sell mainly electronics. Recently, someone did the swap with a video game, which was the first I can remember. But eBay sided with me. They did get their money back from eBay. I kept my money. And you know what? If eBay is going to take that tact where, you know what, no matter what happens, we're going to side with the buyer in the sense of we're going to give them money. And even though it's out of eBay's pocket, guess who's paying for that? It's us. It's coming through our fees, right? They just don't have a magic money tree, a magic scammer buyer money tree that they just pull money off of and send it to the buyer. whenever we complain when we're getting the raw end here. Um, it's coming out somewhere, and here's our fees. They go up, and if eBay would just knock it off, look, make a decision. If you think that we are honest and we didn't do anything wrong, and you're siding with us, then you need to tell the buyer, sorry, Charlie, you defrauded the seller, at least tried to, and not only are we not giving your money back, but we're putting a ding on your account. If you do it again, then hey. But again, they're losing so many buyers on this platform. I don't see them doing that. Let's see. John M says, and I was able to resell this bad disc once it was resurfaced at work, so I made double. Hey, more power to you. If buyers are going to do that, they're going to lose. You get the item back. There's nothing saying that you can't resell it. So awesome. Dom says, my store is mostly auctions, but my cost per item is like half a cent. 75% of my sales every year are auctions, in and out, in and out. That's it. And you don't have to worry about, if you have limited space. I mean, what are you going to do if you're trying to do reselling and you have limited space? I get so many people ask me, what do you do? Just right here, put auctions. You have it no more than 7 days. Now, you might have the item longer than that. If it doesn't sell, maybe you're asking too much and maybe that has no demand. That's a different issue altogether. But if you have items that are priced right and something that people want, and your prices that you're buying it for are low enough, then you can do something like that. John M says, as far as I understand, if you change the address, you lose all buyer protection for what it's worth. From the buyer's perspective, I don't know, but I do know that you're going to be, if you're dealing with a scammer that's trying to get you to send it somewhere and they claim they didn't receive it and you shipped it to the wrong address. I mean, you can call eBay, say, hey, look at the message they sent me here. But again, I think you're going to be, it's an uphill battle to try to win that as a seller. Water Baby says, my hubby once brought home an old quilt from an old house he was remodeling just to touch it. Made the hairs of my arms raise, bad vibes, washed it twice, still gave me creeps, threw it away. There you go. And Jenna says, I would never allow that kind of content in my house, business, or anywhere for that matter. I was pissed beyond measure and certainly changed my view of Clapton. Yeah, that's just weird. Just that weird culture that we had in the late 60s, early 70s, the whole love everyone, open love, free love, just weird to me. I don't know. But I just wish, look, the cover, do what you want with it, light it on fire, but the album still has value. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's the reseller mind in me. It's like there's nothing visually wrong with the actual album. There's nothing wrong, but I get it. So, I'm always trying to find ways to flip something. So it just it hurt my wallet to see that get destroyed, but it is what it is. John M., how do you get in touch with you so you can look at my store? Just send me an email, flippingainteasy2020@gmail.com. I'll be glad to look at it. Now, do me a favor. I did a store review for somebody that was quite often on these live streams with us and sent me an email and checked out the store. I spent about 30 minutes going over stuff, sent a lengthy review to them, and at that point on, it was like I was his personal eBay rep. I kept getting emails, and I don't mind answering emails. I don't. And I didn't mind getting the emails that he sent me. But one day I didn't answer him fast enough. I think it took like a day to get back to him. And he sent me an email saying, I see how it is. You're just like all the other YouTubers. It's all about the views. And I said, hey, look, man, I'm in the middle of a lot of stuff. Can't answer your questions all the time. And I had no problem with answering your questions. I don't know why you'd send me this kind of a message. Never heard back to him or seen him since. So you know what? I don't mind helping whenever I can. Just understand that I am one person running the same kind of eBay show as you guys. And I'm happy to help. Just it may not be in a timely manner. And it has nothing to do with me not caring, because I do care. That's kind of why we're doing this. I mean, yeah, of course, any YouTuber can come on here and say, oh, I'm doing it because I care. And I just, that's all I think about. But honestly, it's another revenue stream. If I'm being 100% honest with you, and any YouTuber out there that will tell you otherwise is just not being 100% honest with you. But again, it's not about the money. It's not about the views. When I'm helping people, I get no credit for off camera, looking at people's stores and trying to be as helpful as I can. I don't get anything for that. But it's what I like to do. I like to help whenever I can. And honestly, I feel quite flattered when people reach out and say, "Hey, can you help me?" I really feel, good about that. So certainly I encourage you guys, just be patient with me. I'll get back to you. And I'm not going to be like some YouTubers, because I've experienced this myself when I started full time, and that YouTuber said, "Hey, you're just starting full time. You have questions, reach out to me." Reached out to him and thought, well, good. This guy doesn't mind talking to me about it, and never heard back from him. It really made me feel like, wow, really? Are you just saying this to get people to like you? But anyone that has emailed me knows that it may take a day or two to get back, but I've always responded. Michael Johnson says, I've being charged 5% high, not as described in my sales. Oh, anyone else? Well, you got to just work on your account, and it sucks. I've been there before. You have high returns probably, or you have some other defect where eBay is charging you. And I thought they were going to jack it up to 6%. I thought I read that somewhere. I'm surprised they haven't, if they haven't. But if it's at 5%, it's going to be for that particular category, I think, only. So if you have other items in a different category, those shouldn't be affected. But it still stinks, because not only are your items not going to be placed as high in search, in best match search. Now, your price, they're searching by price. That has nothing to do with this. If it's in best match search, eBay doesn't trust you right now. And they're wanting you to they kind of want you to leave the platform. They're not saying it, but that's kind of what eBay does. They're punishing people. I don't agree with this. They should never punish people, because things happen in life. But my advice to you is to persevere. Don't let eBay drive you away. Keep listing. List more items. List in different categories. If you're in a niche, maybe give that niche a break for a while. Allow your account to heal by listing items that aren't going to be hit with that 5% fee, but keep listing. Lower your prices if you have to, and just show eBay through whatever it was. If it's a high return rate, start really focusing on giving more information in your listings. Be clear with your listings. Be more upfront about defects, and also put those defects in not only in the item description, but the condition description of your item as well. And I think sometimes if you're selling an item that has a problem and someone buys it, make sure that you just send them a little note. And I don't normally say this for all stores, but in your case, you're trying to build that trust. You're trying to get those ratings lowered. And I would send a message saying, thank you for your purchase. We're going to mail this out tomorrow. Just please remember, for the listing, this item doesn't have a charger, that type of thing. So that, it confirms what they should already know. But there's going to be times where, they're going to say, well, item not as described, you didn't say anything about no charger, and now you're taking a return due to an item not as described. So just things that you can do. You got to be a little bit more proactive. It sucks, but your account will get better in time. I think it's like 60 days where you really are changing things. And it happened to me, like I said, and it's not fun. Mel Martin says, do you accept returns on personal items like soap or hair conditioner? We accept returns on everything, but here's the thing. I don't sell used soap. Don't sell used conditioner. If you've cracked the seal, you've opened the package, it's a different condition, and I can't sell it the same way, and I'm going to deduct 50% because it's not sellable anymore. John M says, so let's say you sold a $500 item and it got returned and not as described. I would refund full, as final value fee is likely more than the shipping. So if you got an item not as described back and it was a $500 item, for me, it depends. If the item, let's say it was an error in the listing, I'm giving them a full refund, even the original shipping. If it's just a misunderstanding where the information's in the listing, the buyer just chose not to read, if they're buying it on the app, they have to click that link to get to your description. It's not going to show up in the app. If you have something special about it, that's why I tell you to put it in the condition as well, the condition description. But if they're saying something that wasn't part of the item and you have it covered in the listing, they're not getting a full refund from me. I'm just telling you that. Happens a lot. Buyers don't read, and then they want to blame you. Tim says, seeking a one-on-one tutorial regarding a specific challenge I've had. If I pay you for 30 minutes consult, is that possible? As yes, how much do we set up a meeting? I mean, you could send me an email. I don't really do consultations. Here's the thing. I don't like the idea of charging my viewers for, I know my time is worth something, right? But it's never set well with me to do that. If it's something that I can maybe give you a quick answer to, I'm not charging you for that. Just send me an email. But I really don't want to be in that business, if that makes sense. It just doesn't sound, it sounds really disingenuous. If I'm in here saying, look, I'm giving you my 100%, but that 100% doesn't answer your questions that you have off camera, then I guess I'm not doing my job. So if there's a content that you want me to cover, sometimes I won't cover certain topics, but if it's something that I think people would be interested in, if it's like some off the wall thing, I'm not going to make a video on it, but I'm still glad to answer your question, if that makes sense. So flippingainteasy2020@gmail.com. I'll be glad to do what I can. And, just even to say hi, that's cool too. Lisa says, if they're scamming, why should that get a refund full stop from eBay and the seller? Because eBay doesn't want to offend their buyers. And so they will side with the seller and say, but we're giving them their money back, but we're going to unfreeze your funds. So you should be happy, right? But, and kind of, I'm feeling like, wow, I mean, at what point does the buyer get reprimanded when they're caught with their hand in the cookie jar? They're just gonna get their money back and they get to move on. So it's just, to me, bad business. I know they're trying to encourage the buyer to stay, but why would you want buyers like that on your platform? Tiffany says, should you relist an item that has watchers? If you have a lot of watchers, okay, now some of your watchers might be other sellers. So one thing to keep in mind, if you have a lot of watchers, you lose that when you sell similar. I think it used to be, and maybe it is still, that you keep your watchers when you relist an item. Now, I may be totally wrong on that because I don't use the relist feature. But for me, here's the thing. You have people looking at your item. So there's something keeping them from buying your item. You have to figure out what that is. How do you figure that out? Well, if that item's even selling, if that item has comps, let's say it's just no one's buying that item, then no one's going to buy that item. But if you have other comps, like these many items have sold since I've listed this item, what do they do differently in their listing? Is their title better? Do they have better photos? Their price might be a lot better. So I would consider those factors before you wipe out your listing and do a sell similar. For me, I don't get a lot of items that have a lot of views. They just don't. And maybe that's because I'm constantly recycling my items every 30 days with the sell similar. But I mean, to me, I think it's because if I get enough people watching it, I'm sending offers to watchers every day, multiple times a day when it pops up. And I'm trying to move my items that way. And if it's still there, there's something wrong with the listing. Dom says, I start at all auctions 99 cents. You'd be surprised how it all averages out to retail prices, but I can't speak for every category. Yeah, I've seen some, like I had some items that I tried to sell. I have a power washer that's going to be at the yard sale. I think I put that thing at like, I don't know, like $9.99. No, maybe $19.99. It's a Briggs and Stratton. It's a pretty good one. It's open box. It's looks like, well, I say open box. It's a customer return unit that looks like they did a quick job in their garage and decided they're going to send it back. And they had all the packaging and everything, and they had all the tags attached to it and everything. So, for me, that's like $152 unit, I think. And, here I am trying to sell it for $19.99 just to move it, plus the cost of shipping. And nothing. So I just said, you know what? I'm just going to sell it at the yard sale. So I have a few items like that as well that I'm going to be selling at the yard sale. So it's going to be pretty good. John M says, I agree about the eBay not refunding out of their own pockets. You're right. This is straight out of their pockets eventually. I even said that to the rep. Why? Because it's easier. You don't get, the person's not mad. You're directly saying we're siding with the seller, but don't worry, you're going to be taken care of. And that's what all people just want their money back when they're looking for a refund, and they don't care how it's done. Just give me my money back. And, you tell someone all day long, a buyer, hey, I'm going to block you. and they're like, fine, block me, I don't care. And they move on. So I think that's kind of the mindset. eBay doesn't want to lose any more buyers. Noah Design, hit the like button. 100 people. Let's get Mr. and Mrs. FAE dinner and drinks tonight. Hint, hint. Well, I don't know what tonight's going to look like. We're going to have a lot of work here pretty soon. That's for sure. And Jenna's a trooper. She's back at the house getting the stuff done, the cleaning. And then tomorrow, after the yard sale, I got the carpet people coming to the house doing the carpets. Wicked Domain. Hey, John, just curious as to if you see the buyer groups option under the marketing tab. If so, how often do you send out the coupon, discount, whatever it is? I don't send out coupons. Now, on the niche store, I'll do it maybe once a month. Right before I'm about to drop new items. I haven't done the other niche store in a while because I don't want them to, get this new coupon and then there's nothing different than what they saw when they saw it a few weeks ago. I want to drop a lot of new stuff in that account, which is what I plan on doing. I think I'm also going to put my records on that account, the 800 that I'm going through. And I'm just going to do it that way. After I get a lot of merchandise on there, I'm going to drop coupons and see if people will bite. But don't use that so often. And I'm a big believer of the public coupon because it attaches to your listing and the buyers get to see that you're offering. I think I'm offering a 15% discount right now for summer. Let's see. Lisa says, OMG, you're a busy person running your store on eBay and doing YouTube. It takes time and effort. If you respond to every email, you'll never get any work done. No need for it. Yeah, but for some people, they're looking at the little short videos and those are addicting too, like the TikTok and the Instagram little 30-second, 60-second videos, and you can get down just a rabbit hole and waste time doing that. And I like to at least keep posted on what's going on with my YouTube account, on Instagram, see if there's any messages on Instagram, and then I'll move over to my email. And this is usually my relaxation time. So it's not really keeping me from getting anything done. Let's see. HC says, what are the USPS changes? USPS is getting greedy here in Colorado. So again, I had technical difficulties at the beginning of this and I apologize, but what I was talking about is USPS hazardous materials requirement in effect now. So if you're selling anything that has a lithium battery in it that is in used or worse condition, we're not talking open box, we're not talking new. Now, if it's refurbished, that's now considered used, even though it may still, some categories still have the refurbished condition. So anything used or worse, you have to ship it so that it's actually shipped on ground, like UPS ground, I think USPS parcel select, that type of thing. You can't use priority mail, first class mail if it's light enough, but you can't use priority mail because they have that 2 to 3 day delivery, and that's utilizing air. And I guess there's a problem with batteries exploding or whatever it used to be. I've shipped items with lithium batteries in them over the last 3 years of me selling everything, and I've never had anyone complain about it. But apparently they feel like if an item's used, maybe it has a more of a chance of having a problem than if it's new. I don't know, but that's the changes. And if you're selling everything like I do, you get items at a yard sale, you get items at a thrift store. Those are all used. Well, most of the time, unless you can inspect it to make sure that it hasn't been used. You use your best judgment and then, make sure that you're shipping it accordingly. And your shipping policy is set up to where, when they're buying it, they know that it's going to take a little longer to get it. And No One Design 2 says, I've tested relisting with watchers and sell similar with watchers. I've always sell similar instead of relisting. The watcher always comes back. It's kind of weird how that works. And you get a boost for a new item or a new listing by selling similar. Well, we're an hour and 15 in. I actually went a little longer than I was planning on it, but you know what? That's fine. Time flies when you're having fun, and the fun is going to come to an end for me because I have to get to work, unfortunately, and help Jenna over there and get ready for the yard sale. Again, send me the email, flippinainteasy2020@gmail.com. and I will be happy to send you an email with the address for the yard sale if you're going to be in the Vegas area tomorrow morning. And I'll put the email right there. A lot of stuff. We're going to have a lot of stuff. So come on out. It's not like your normal yard sale where you're going to have like a bunch of like towels laying on the ground with like random stuff. A lot of this stuff is reseller stuff. And I've been to a lot of yard sales where resellers are trying to get eBay prices. I promise you that's not what's happening here. We just want to move a lot of this stuff. I don't want to bring it back to this new house because honestly, after you see my garage, you're going to understand that I'm not going to have a lot of room for a lot of extra stuff like I used to. And I think the garage setup that I have now, because of it, is going to make me more efficient as a seller because I'm going to have everything more centralized. It's going to be just a lot better environment. And thank you for your guys' feedback on helping me design this garage, because I mean, I had some ideas, but through your input, it's sort of ingrained as to what I wanted to do and sort of put me in the right direction. So thank you for that. And again, I will be making another video here pretty soon. This weekend's going to be fun getting it all put together. But once I'm done, I'm going to show you guys exactly what I did and how I set it up and everything. So guys, whether you're dealing with a USPS item that you now have to ship ground and not air, or if you're dealing with the move like me and you're now having to start from scratch and set up your garage again or your workspace again, these are just now more things that confirm that flipping ain't easy, or flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent weekend. We'll hopefully see you at the yard sale in the morning. If not, you'll hear from me very soon. Have a good one, everyone.